Alt season is coming soon, if not already here. And in yesterday's video, I obviously made a little mistake, which I need to talk about. I said, I'm selling my altcoins today. And I was selling my altcoins. And the comment section went absolutely crazy, fully negative. So let me be clear in this video and how to best handle this alt season, because it does not mean, hey, alt season is coming. Hold everything we possibly can. We will make money anyway. There's always a way to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. And that's exactly what I want to talk about in this video. So welcome to Fomo Factory. Like the video, dislike the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, and let's get into it. So I want to explain in this video better why I sold altcoins and why I think that alt season is coming. Right now, the mistake that I made yesterday in this video was pretty obvious. I tried to experiment with a little bit of clickbait. And not really, actually, because I said I'm selling my altcoins. And yeah, in the first minute, I kind of already told you that I am selling my altcoins. The problem is, however, that I should not do clickbait, because the comment section showed exactly which people watched the actual video and which people didn't. The section was absolutely crazy. You're selling the bottom and you're getting wrecked, and it's now the worst time to sell your altcoins, etc., etc., etc. But then, so that's my bad. I should know better that a title is often enough for people to make up their minds. Now, if you are watching this video, shout out to you. I'm not using YouTube as X, right? I'm actually talking on this thing right here. I don't know. So I want to be very clear what I said in this video. I am selling weak altcoins for altcoins that are holding up. Not necessarily outperforming altcoins, right? But I am shuffling weakness to strength. And that's what you should do in any type of market, in my opinion. That is the winning strategy. A lot of people may have gotten the point and disagree with that. That's fine. In my experience, that's what made me wealthy. So yeah, don't fix it if it ain't broke, I would say. Right? So I want to be very clear about the strategy right here and why I made that video, because that video is one of the most important videos I actually made, because that will optimize and upgrade your crypto portfolio for when alt season is going to happen, right? Because this chart is obviously showing that we are sitting at the lows right now, right? When it comes to alt season. So should you now sell altcoins for Bitcoin? In my opinion, then you will be selling the bottom. That will be kind of ridiculous, right? But should you now be selling altcoins for dollars? Well, in my opinion, if they go up against their Bitcoin pair, then the only way for altcoins to go down on the dollar pair is for Bitcoin to go down really hard. But I mean sub 40K, something like that. Yeah, it's a bull market. That's also not going to happen probably, right? So selling altcoins for Bitcoin, completely off the table. Selling altcoins for dollars, completely off the table. But if you talk about selling, there are multiple currencies you can sell something for, right? That's kind of, crypto is more than USDT. You can sell altcoins for other altcoins, and that's the way to optimize your portfolio. So in this video, I want to go over what I personally expect for this alt season and why this is probably going to be way more bullish than a lot of people actually think. And therefore, also the reason why I shoveled coins, right? For example, I compared one altcoin on its Bitcoin pair to another altcoin on its Bitcoin pair. It's very simple. If an altcoin, for example, Solana, is holding up on its Bitcoin pair during a non-alt season, right? Or already outperforming, then it's very likely that this altcoin will outperform way harder as soon as alt season is actually there, right? However, if you look at an altcoin on its Bitcoin pair, like an IMX, right? This is an altcoin that I got rid of. Why? Because this is kind of the opposite chart, right? During a non-alt season, it underperforms Bitcoin, and that's normal. But compared to other altcoins, it is also underperforming, right? So there's a bigger chance that a Solana, for example, during an alt season will go up harder than an IMX, right? Because this is not, I got some comments here and there like you're selling the bottom, but this is not the bottom. Maybe it turns out eventually to be, right? But that will be very coincidentally, because this is not a bottom. This is a falling knife. There is no bottom inside. It's still going down, right? So sometimes, and that's the thing in crypto, you have to set your ego aside and sometimes look at a chart and be like, you know what? Of course, it might go up. I mean, you bought the project in the first place because you like it. So this is a tough decision to make. I get that. But sometimes you have to look at it and be like, you know what? It's a falling knife. Hey, based on the chart, it can do this even more. Well, based on the chart, it is doing this. So better to sell it here to prevent this than hold it here in the hope that it's going to do this, which it is not doing so far, right? And therefore, again, you don't have to be afraid to miss out on this if you take that same money and put it into a coin like, I don't know, a Near, for example, which is at least showing that it has a strong bottom to fall back on, right? Again, Near on the chart, way more likely to bottom somewhere close than IMX. This is price discovery, right? And again, this has price history based on this level. That's all I'm saying. And I hope you understand this, right? This is, I hope this is as clear as I can make it. Okay. So that's what I've been doing with my portfolio. And that way, I've been putting coins in my portfolio that show that they can hold up against Bitcoin, but they are still in a great buying opportunity right now, right? That's also a difference. There are also coins that have been outperforming Bitcoin all the single time, and then you're buying the top. And then you're basically like, if you want to do that now with a SUI, look, I'm not selling the lows on a coin to buy the highs on another coin. Although that also is not always a bad strategy, because again, some coins, they just keep on losing. And if you hold them, then it's you basically what you're saying is, well, from this point on, they will go up without any, like in the middle of price discovery to the downside. That's a risky take. That's really a risky take, right? So I want to go over a couple of things later in this video that are posted in the comments, because it's what a lot of people think, apparently. However, this strategy has made me a lot of money. So it's not that I'm going to change that, of course, right? This works for me. But first, I want to talk about why Altseason is going to be big and what I potentially expect for Altseason. I want to go over that very shortly, by the way, because I talk about that a lot. And most people on this channel probably know that I am the biggest Altseason expector out there. And that's funny. A lot of people, they see altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, right? They see it at a high point somewhere and they be like, oh yeah, now be in altcoins. And now they are low. Now it's actually the time to be in altcoins. And now a lot of people, they don't do that, of course, because that's, it's scary and there's fear in the market. But yeah, you have to counter trade that, right? Buy the lows, sell the highs, not the other way around, of course, right? So again, this is the chart. There's others. Everything outside of the top 10 and the top 125 on its Bitcoin pair. So these are the, the mid caps basically collectively on their Bitcoin pair, showing a very decent average picture of the altcoin market. Yeah, and this has been sitting at this historical trend line at the beginning post-halving year. Same as here, same as here. And we got into Altseason both times after that. That chart alone is for me more than enough. Why? Because crypto is showing that it is cyclical. Bitcoin is showing that it is cyclical. This chart is showing that it is, everything is showing that the seasonality is very much intact. So therefore, I'm not purely basing this off of 2 earlier cycles, but the whole seasonality being completely 100% intact till the day of today makes this a very easy bet for me. Now, what's funny is that Bitcoin is now sitting over 100K. Right now, if we look at the total crypto market cap, it's sitting at $3.5 trillion right now, right? Looking very bullish, actually broke the high, retest up, looking great. If we look at the altcoin dominance, it's currently 10%, give or take, right? This chart makes sense if you look at like this. It's 10%. Well, 10% of that 300 or $3.5 trillion is $340 billion for the altcoin market. Now, if I look at this chart, then I'll be like, okay, in the last bull market, we went to the upper side of this range twice. In the bull market before that, kind of depends on what time frame you look at it, but let's say also twice, right? There is just been a retest of this whole parallel channel in November last year. That was the last piece of evidence for me to say that this parallel channel is still fully intact after 10 years. That's a long time, right? It's not a weekly thing that can break next week. It's a 10 years long trend, which has been intact, just got tested 2 months ago. So for me, that there is a more than a realistic chance that it will tag the upside at least once this cycle. But let's say we don't get there, right? 30%. Let's say we don't get there. Let's say we get to 20%, right? Almost the mid-side of the range. For easy math, 20%. Which I don't think is realistic. I think we go higher. Let's also say that for some reason, and let me already clarify, it's not going to happen. But for some reason, there's no more new money coming into the crypto market from today, right? No more, nothing. So 3.5 trillion. Well, 20% of 3.5 trillion is 700 billion, right? So even if for some reason no new money comes in the crypto market with everything that's going on right now in the market where we are in, and altcoins on the Bitcoin pair are doing something really weird and diminishing, which this chart isn't diminishing, actually, it's an uptrend. If we combine these two factors, which I don't see play out, but to get a very conservative and negative and very bearish expectation, then the altcoin market would still go to $700 billion, right? And $700 billion by the end of 2025 is this trend line almost right here, 650, 700, right? That would be the worst unrealistic case scenario for me that I can possibly think of. And that would still mean new all-time highs for the altcoin market, right? So at the end of the day, holding altcoins right now, if they are somewhat decent, should be a very good trade and a very easy trade, actually. Again, the seasonality is intact. The macro is starting to look better. The DXY is coming down. The S&P is going up. Bitcoin is making new all-time highs. It's the post-halving year, which is good for altcoin. Like everything lines up. Okay, and I've been talking about this for a very long time, and yeah, eventually we will see it play out, right? And it's a matter of patience. A lot of people, they struggle with that. I mean, it's crypto. We come here and expect to get rich overnight, which often is not what happens, right? You have these success stories, these unicorns. Overall, understanding the market, knowing what you're in for, having patience, kill your emotions completely. That's the way to eventually almost guaranteed to get there. You can also trade all the pump fun coins out there. There's a 0.0001% chance that you will make a lot of money, but you will probably lose it all. And you have to ask yourself, what's worth it for me? So Altseason is coming. This chart is screaming that it will be coming. So I'm very excited for that. Now, there are ways to prepare for that. And again, the way that I showed in the video is to prepare by looking at altcoins who are who have relative strength. It's not about being strong, because if you look at the altcoin market in general on its Bitcoin pair, it's not strong, right? But it's about relative strength, right? The overall altcoin market, it's sitting low, but not at the cycle low against Bitcoin. So then you can take a look at certain altcoins, again, like an IMX. Yeah, this is sitting way below cycle low. Like a Joe, way below cycle low. Carrot, way below cycle low, right? And a lot of these are. So if they are already underperforming compared to the rest of the altcoin market, then it's better to get into the rest of the altcoin market, right? Because there is no, if they now like, if Altseason comes up, there is a chance that a couple of these underperformers will outperform Bitcoin, of course. But that's not the point. You want to be in the altcoins that outperform Bitcoin, but also outperform other altcoins, right? And in my opinion, if I look at a carrot, yeah, for example, right? This is a coin that has been going down exceptionally hard compared to Bitcoin, compared to other altcoins. So when Altseason does turn around, this could go up. But a Ronin, for example, on its Bitcoin pair in that case, right? Here we have it. A Ronin, for example, shows like, hey, we have support here, support here, support here, support here. So when Altseason comes up, there's a way higher chance that this thing bounces, right? That was the point of the whole video. Yeah. So in my all honesty, that was one of the best advices that I could have gave, and the amount of negative comments was absurd. But that's what it is, man. I mean, if you feel like another strategy works better for you, hey, I mean, I hope you make it. Definitely no problem, right? I know that this has worked for me, and I see it work literally on the chart. So I just like to share that. Do whatever you want, right? That's up to you. Now, a great way to kill emotions in crypto, because it's one big, like, Desperate Housewives show basically lately, is to make sure that you are prepared by having a passive income, right? And you can apply this still. I'm having an insane node opportunity soon, which I'm going to invest in heavily. But also for the next cycle, if there are good nodes coming up, they generate a passive income for you, right? So even whatever happens, the next day you will always have more money, basically, right? And that makes me kind of dead inside, and that's beautiful. Now, for example, we talked about Agent Layer, and Agent Layer was insane. It had the AI agent hype before it was an AI agent hype, so that's absolutely fantastic. And also what's really interesting is that if you look at this chart and you overlay the general altcoin market, this has been following the overall general altcoin market pretty well. And that's good, because this is a token with some inflation, right? You are getting node rewards. On the other hand, there's enough buying pressure, so the chart doesn't care. Right? If you compare that to an Earnum, for example, right? The overall altcoin market is hovering up, down, up, down. Earnum is just straight going to hell and beyond, right? Fucking sucks. So, and I have these notes as well. Sometimes you lose, whatever. It doesn't really matter, right? The point is that you take your chances on altcoins that look good, and we picked quite a few actually. Now, specifically about Agent Layer, by the way, the reason why they are holding up so good is they have, now listing after listing, and that's smart, right? AI agents are now a hype. And although launchpads and gaming are the biggest in my portfolio, because I like to invest in where the money, in my opinion, is going next, AI agents are a big part of my portfolio as well. And they have the timing on point. They are live on VMAX and then on CoinTR and on Bybit. And these are no tier 1 exchanges, but they make it available for people in Europe, for example, and Turkey, where most of these exchanges are based, very, very, very easily. And that is going to pay off when the bull market turns around, right? So when it comes to that, I think that agent layer is a fantastic opportunity, actually, by the way. And I don't want to make it seem like a shill or whatever, but this is actually holding up very good. And the current market cap for this project is $13 million. Like, you see what AI agents can do, right? There are some gems right now, really some gems. Same with Sonic, for example, one of the latest node sales that we were talking about. This ROI, it's so hard when the nodes came out. And once we bought in, everybody had their initial back. And we are now literally every day printing free money, right? So if you miss this, then you could ignore it and be like, yeah, people are running nodes. There's always a little vesting for a project, but the vesting takes pretty long in this case. And like I said earlier, this is basically the IMX on Solana, right? Gaming, look, some people say gaming is dead. How do I say this? No. There are still 2 billion gamers. Gaming isn't dead. Crypto gaming is only getting better. It's now not the hype. That's true. But isn't that always the time that you want to buy something before it gets the hype, right? And Sonic SVM shows like, hey, bam, 200 million. We stay there. No problem. Strong. They had a big onboarding through TikTok. Now TikTok's probably getting unbanned, which is very positive for Sonic SVM as well. This one is holding up so extremely well for a project that had a big sell in the beginning, right? People were farming these tokens because of their nodes, etc. And yeah, basically the chart went from $1 to 117 and now came down to 56 cents. Yeah, usually with such an unlock, you see a project tanking 90%. This one holds up. And at a certain point, again, when the market turns around, this is going to be, in my opinion, one of the most obvious plays. So shout out Sonic, man. I loved this one, really. So back to the tactic, I want to go over a couple comments because this is just what's on people's mind, right? And again, when I made this video yesterday, I said, I'm selling my alts. I'm buying other alts for it. Look, if you ever... Look, I am the biggest clickbait hater and I just want to experiment a little bit. Although it wasn't really clickbait because I did sell, right? I just didn't say that I sold it for USDT, but I get that kind of like misleading. However, I made it clear in the first minute. But please, guys, there is a lot, and I won't do clickbait anymore. I hate it. But there are a lot of clickbait videos on YouTube, okay? And I want to prevent you from something, okay? There's a lot of clickbait on YouTube. There are a lot of people on X cloud farming. And if you don't look further than the first sentence or a YouTube title or whatever, and purely base your opinion off of that, that's short-sighted and you will get yourself wrecked, guys. Don't do that, okay? So I want to go over a couple comments to make myself a little clear about this. So somebody said, so sell the bottom to get rich, very big investor. So again, I'm not selling the bottom for altcoins. I'm shuffling the weak against the strong altcoins, right? Another example that I gave is engine starter, right? This is a good example. Look, you could look at this chart and be like, why are you selling now? What you're supposed to ask, which I ask myself as well, why didn't I sell earlier, right? Unfortunately, I didn't see this coming, right? That could happen. Be in crypto, again, set your ego aside. Sometimes you take a loss. Fuck, that's like, don't be afraid to admit that. Like, it's crypto. You cannot be weak in crypto and not have something wrong, okay? That's just how it works. But with the engine starter, this is going down, 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 down. If I sold engine starter a couple months ago, people would have said the same thing, right? But if I did that, I would have prevented another 70% loss. Right? So far, this chart is doing this. So again, I can better sell it here to prevent this, right? Maybe now this happens, right? But that's a way bigger gamble. To hold it is riskier. because the chart is showing that for the last, well, since ever basically, but especially since the last year, it has been down only. So holding it is basically that you're saying to yourself, like, well, today it's going up. Yeah, that chance is just not really that high, right? So sometimes selling, it's the best move you can make, right? And then understand again where to put your money, right? For example, Tau is looking like, hey, also down hard, right? So I'm not taking a coin that's down, putting it into a coin at all-time highs. I'm also putting it into a coin that's down, but at least into a coin that's down that shows that at that same spot, it bounces. It can bounce. It's not a guarantee that it will this time, right? This is more than the other chart that you saw. So yeah, that. Somebody said, basically almost the altcoins in gaming and launchpads can be sold. Best to choose the narrative which is attractive, forget the rest, at least for now and maybe for good. And that depends a little bit on how you trade it, right? One, there are a lot of launchpads and gaming that are going up. I mean, if you look at a Superverse, at a Prime, they have been performing really hard. A ChainGPT has been performing really hard. A CDFI as well, right? And a CDFI not as in, hey, it's outperforming Bitcoin really hard, but it's holding up against Bitcoin while giving a lot of ROI on their IDO. So although, and that's the thing with launchpads, although the chart of that launchpad token might not moon right now, I have been making more money off of it than other charts that have been mooning, right? Plus, you also want to look where the money is likely going to go next. And some people like that. Some people just like to go with whatever they see right now. That's less reward, but more certainty. I like a little more risk. And that's also because, honestly, launchpads is the most obvious. It just showed, like on CDFI as well, there are projects doing 10, 20x's, like it happens at the moment, right? So that's happening right now. And gaming as well. And gaming is maybe a little riskier, as gaming is not a hot narrative right now. But again, it is obvious because the use case has been being used more than everything else combined in crypto, right? Gaming is the biggest use case. So yeah, for me, that's an obvious one, actually. So yeah. But again, that's just a different strategy, and not everybody likes that, and that's fine. That's completely okay. Somebody said, is it possible that Altseason happened already and Bitcoin pumped later, reverse this cycle? No, because we can already see it on the chart, right? Altcoins on their Bitcoin pair have been going down and not up, right? Bitcoin has been making new all-time highs. Altcoins have not. And that's normal. That's the money flow. That's nothing crazy. That's nothing different. It's the same as last cycles. But no, that's not what's going on right now. Let me check. Yeah, somebody asked, I get the concept of checking performance versus Bitcoin rather than USD, but surely this is a backward-looking measure, and with altcoins, we are looking for those that will explode during the real alt season. Or is there research that proves that this is better performance giving over the long term? Well, look, it actually is very simple. And like I said earlier in this video as well, you're looking for those who will explode during the real alt season, right? So if a coin is now holding up during a non-alt season, there is a good chance that it will reverse together with the market during alt season. But again, if a coin, and let me give one more terrible example. Yeah, fuck it. Let me go back to IMX right here. Look, it's not that I'm saying like, hey, during alt season, this will still suck, right? You never know. And at a certain point, it could bounce. But I'm only saying that, hey, if altcoins overall are at least holding up, right, during a non-alt season, and this altcoin is getting wrecked relatively more, then it should relatively also underperform during alt season, right? So, yeah, that I hope that's helpful. Somebody said, you know that the bull market is bad when you have to reallocate your portfolio mid-cycle to cut the losses and the non-performers. This is an extremely tough cycle. I personally don't really agree. This cycle is, look, I get that this cycle is tough for people. You'll notice the sentiment all around you, right? However, it's not worse than last cycle or the cycle before that. It's just most people haven't been in a cycle before, and they expected Altseason to happen earlier, and it didn't happen, and then I'll be like, oh, it's so tough. Right? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's tough, definitely, but it's not different or anything. But you know that the bull market is bad when you have to reallocate your portfolio mid-cycle to cut the losses. You should all look, the market changes, charts change, and at a certain point you should go with it, in my opinion. Look, you can hold on, like again for an IMX, for example, it was holding the low somewhat right here, right? And hold, great. But at a certain point, it just showed like, hey, IMX, the market is holding up, but IMX is starting to show relative weakness. So by this point, you could say like, okay, then it shows now that IMX is one of the weaker ones, right? And then you might want to get rid of that and put it into something that has more upside. Yeah, it's not that's, in my opinion, anything to do with a hard market or whatever. But for me, there's no really a reason to hold on to something that's going down only. That's just simply what it is, right? And again, if I sell and at a certain point it goes up, it's fine. I didn't miss out because I didn't, again, sell it for Bitcoin or dollars. I sold it for other altcoins that will probably go up harder once this also goes up, because this was the outperformer. Someone said, if we follow the last cycle, full-blown alt season should start in less than a week. Yeah, look, no, a little bit. First thing first, we don't follow last cycle exactly, because we never do until the exact day, of course, right? That could be a month, 2 months difference, whatever. But last cycle, alt season, yeah, in my opinion, it started when we bounced off this trend line, right? And that started at the first week of January already, right? So compared to last cycle, we are a couple of weeks later now. Compared to the cycle before that, it started in the last week of February, right? So we still have more than a month to go. So when it comes to that, we're perfectly right in the middle right now. So yeah, it can come any moment, and it can change like that, right? It can really change like that. You can see that in this cycle as well. Altcoins wrecked, and from one day to the other, it was alt season. Right? It can really happen that fast. Why some crypto YouTubers jumping out right now telling us they're selling their altcoins? Yeah, again, this is not Twitter. There's a video here as well. Somebody said, admit that the bull market is different than other years. It isn't. It feels different. I get that, but it isn't. Okay, it literally isn't. You can check a lot of charts that actually might comfort you if you have that feeling. But if you, for example, look at Bitcoin from the lowest point, right, from 15K, whatever the bottom was, until now, yeah, we're following the two last cycles pretty perfectly. Matter of fact, we followed 2017 really, really well. So Bitcoin, like, is actually 100% the same right now. And again, when we look at altcoins, yeah, also, like I said, this alt season started beginning of January post-halving year, and this alt season started end of February post-halving year. It's now end of January post-halving year, so we are right in between. So, yeah, I get the feeling or the sentiment, but it isn't different. It's literally the same so far. Won't be like that forever, definitely not. But so far it is. Somebody responded, won't be the last time you do that. I'm holding NDCA around October, I think until around October. That's a different strategy. You could do that. Look, like, indeed, it won't be the last time I do that. I will always try to keep my portfolio a little bit up to date with the market. One tactic is indeed, if you are in an altcoin and you are, for example, in a loss, although you don't notice it maybe on your dollar pair, but on the Bitcoin pair, a lot are, right? One strategy is just holding and hope that that altcoin eventually strengthens up a little bit again, right? Not only against Bitcoin, but also when it comes to underperforming other altcoins. And some will. and some won't, right? That's a gamble. And the other strategy is the strategy that I've showed is, okay, if an altcoin shows that it's relative weak, I put it into something that's relatively not weak. So I have a bigger chance of riding it up when alt season comes. Somebody said, take a look at XRP. It looked shit for years. See where it is now. And yeah, it's not really related to this video, I think. If you look, because if you compare to the topic which it's about right now, right? XRP is a little different actually. If you look at XRP went down, but it never made that lower low. Like the altcoins that I sold are the altcoins that made price discoveries, right? That are in price discovery, right? Now, XRP hold these lows right here. And that might be the reason why it pumped so hard, because it showed like, hey, against Bitcoin, at least we're not going in price discovery, right? And that's, again, the altcoins that I am allocating in right now. These levels, right? Here it had history that here in 2020, 21, it was holding, right? So this showed like it's holding up against Bitcoin, not making lower lows. So that's kind of exactly the point of the video. I said Casper made new all-time lows. Somebody said it didn't. Indeed, I looked at a chart that didn't have history enough. That's a tough video. I totally get what you mean by sell the real coins. I probably wouldn't made a video out of it though. Just makes you look bad when Bitcoin dominance has only been going down for 15 months. Yeah, now again, I'm not selling the altcoins for Bitcoin. I hope the message is clear right now, and I hope a lot of these comments made these people watch right now and be like, oh, like I thought I was pretty clear in that video about that. Yeah, somebody said it's worst time ever to get rid of IMX, and that's the thing. I get that. On the other hand, again, if you look at IMX, look, I mean, let me put it on the daily. I hope this is clear, and I'm not saying that this is the ultimate answer. This is just my strategy, right? It's the worst time ever to get rid of IMX. Definitely, there's not a lower point where you could have sold. Then again, it is in price discovery, right? If I would have sold it here at this trend line, then there was history and a chance of a bounce, and it did bounce, by the way. That would have sucked, right? But in price discovery, it's a different thing, right? Because here in November, it was also the worst moment ever to sell IMX. However, if you did, you would prevented yourself from another 13% loss, right? It's not showing at the moment that it is forming a bottom, right? It could create a bottom somewhere out of nowhere, but like it's not showing that right now, right? So that's a gamble. And in price discovery, things can go down really hard. If you look at Quant, for example, yeah, I mean, Quant was also down only. And if you sold it here, people would have said, oh, like worst sell ever. Yeah, you prevented another like half of your portfolio getting wrecked, right? And that's the trade that I am taking, preventing more losses and putting it into something that has a fantastic opportunity while it is showing that it can hold up against Bitcoin. Somebody said, this is the first episode where you mentally pivoted to meme coins. It's not too late. No, I didn't pivot to meme coins. I just went over my watch list and I didn't look at narratives. And again, if a gaming coin looks bad, I'm gonna get rid of it. If a meme coin looked good, I'm gonna got it, right? I didn't like look at narratives. Because there are also Bobcat, fucking wrecked, that chill guy coin, fucking wrecked. Well, I can name a million meme coins that are fucking wrecked. So if anything, meme coins are like getting wrecked even harder right now. But there are some that hold up. Right? So I don't really care what the narrative is. I just want to make money, and I don't care what. I now know for sure that you're going to lose more money. I didn't lose money, right? Some coins were down, but other coins went up harder. Overall, I'm not in a loss. For sure not, luckily, right? But again, if this is not a tactic to lose money, but I like watch the video, guys, please. I won't do clickbait anymore. I promise. Just freaking watch it, or don't watch it, but then don't comment. It's also fine. Somebody said, sell them all. They will crash together soon. Buy back lower. Yeah, that's a risky trade, right? Like it's not they will crash. You don't know, of course, right? We don't know. Nobody. If you think they're gonna crash soon, you can try to trade that. But overall, we are in a bull market. We are in the alt season stage. We just entered that right now. So selling now is way more risky than buying. Be careful for that though. Somebody said you missed Katana Inu, and I said it would be on my sell list if I had it. And oh, he didn't like that, by the way. I'm sorry, I was fighting in the comments with everybody. I didn't have a good day, but I really didn't expect these kind of comments, by the way. But he said, selling the bottom, no way. But again, Katana, also, that's a pretty good example. I added it to my watch list. Katana was not at the bottom, right? Also, this chart, it's a falling knife, right? And that's the danger, right? This is something that here it had some kind of support maybe, right? Around this whole area right here. For the people that do like this coin. And this is not to step on toes for people that like certain projects and that I said like, I wouldn't buy it right now. I don't know about the narrative. I don't care. I don't care what they are doing. But the chart apparently also doesn't, right? And that's where the money is eventually, right? But Katana Inu, for example, it showed like, hey, we're holding. And eventually it showed like, sorry, I cannot do this anymore, right? And now this is in price discovery. So, that's the danger about price discovery. It can bounce here, but it can bounce here, it can bounce here, it can bounce here. Why don't like... That's with the market. It has multiple cycles, right? Accumulation, uptrend, distribution, downtrend. You do not, simple rule in crypto actually, do not hold or buy, especially buy, during a downtrend. That's what the accumulation area is for. That's why it's called accumulation area. This is not an accumulation area. This is a downtrend, right? So sorry if I offended some charts or coins or whatever. That's not what I meant to do. I just purely look at charts. Purely, 100%. That's it, right? This was where somebody said, I haven't even listened to what you're going to say, but I think I lost respect for you, and therefore I'm subscribing. That's always very YouTube-ish. I didn't watch your video, but I don't like you anymore. Okay. Bye. Emotional trader. Yeah, in fact, so not, right? This is actually, my point was letting the emotions go, right? To show you like, guys, if you like your project, that's fine, but look at the charts. And if the charts are down, then try to I don't know, go to a divorce with that altcoin until it starts to show that it can do normal things again. And last one, somebody also said, many good altcoins haven't performed yet because we are not in the narrative. And when they catch fire, they can go crazy. Look at Gala and Axie last cycle. They were dead until they weren't. Also why you refuse to acknowledge MK8. I never looked at MK8. We'll check it out one time. But Gala and Axie, look, they weren't really dead, actually. Because if you look at Axie on its Bitcoin pair last cycle from when it came out, it never was in that downtrend, right? That we are looking at with coins right now. Even if you look at it on the daily at the complete beginning, right? Then you can see that it came out, crashed here, went up, made a low or a higher low, right? So this never showed that price discovery to the downside. This here already showed like, hey, I'm strong against Bitcoin. And that eventually paid off in an epic run for Axie, right? And for Gala, it is kind of the same, but I don't have enough history on it. But if you look at Gala on its Bitcoin pair, you can also see that Gala kind of already was strong in the beginning, right? It was strong, it came out, it went down, but it was holding certain key levels, right? And these are the key levels that are drawn out in the buy list that I had yesterday. Look, like these are the levels that it needs to hold. And also Gala shows like, hey, if it can hold these levels, then it can go up really hard, right? Because even if you bought that retest kind of right here, you made a 12x against Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin was also going up. Now we are looking at altcoins that are actually in price discovery. So now for a lot of these altcoins, it's too soon to call, right? Are they at a certain point are going to hold up, right? Like Gala did over here, or are they going to keep falling? And you can do two things. Again, you can bet on the coin that keeps on falling in the hope that it will eventually go up. Or you can just say like, you know what, this coin is relatively weak and I put it in a coin that's more likely to go up during alt season. So you at least don't miss out on alt season with that money, right? So I just wanted to clarify that whole video that, again, this is how I'm looking at it. I'm not selling altcoins for Bitcoin. I'm not selling altcoins for dollars right now. I'm selling, again, I'm shoveling altcoins. And this is the way how I look at the charts. So if it wasn't really clear, then now I hope it's clear, guys. And this, I mean, I'm not doing this for the fact that YouTube pays me now $15 for making this video or whatever, right? I'm really doing this because this is, this has for me been the winning strategy, right? This is how I make money, not by going on YouTube, watching crypto banter because apparently clickbait attracts me and buying the top 10 altcoins or whatever. Understanding the market and understanding relative weakness and relative strength that can either help you prevent more losses and get into more winners, right? And I like sharing information that worked for me because there is just a lot of fucking garbage on YouTube. Honestly, really a lot. And I feel like we deserve better than that, right? So yeah, again, sorry if my point wasn't really clear. The intentions are good, believe me. And yeah, again, this in my opinion is the winning strategy. So whatever, I'm gonna leave it here. Thanks for watching. If you do like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. See you guys very soon.